What's up, everybody? Welcome to the My RC Life YouTube channel, where we do all things RC and a little bit of everything in between. Let's go!
What's going on, everybody? Trax is Mike from My RC Life. Today, I'm down in the basement again. I broke the pull start on this again. Pretty much because I forgot to put in this little piece, I think, into the recoil on the pull start. So the spring sprung. Last time the rope broke, and that's what the deal was. But this time the spring sprung, and it just won't recoil back in. But I didn't go right back to repairing it because I got some other parts that I've ordered. One, an adjustable clutch. I don't know if you guys realized by listening to any Primal RC Raminator, when the clutch engages, it engages really quickly. I want the clutch to start coming in right on the pipe, you know, instead of coming in, bum. I want it to come in up on the RPM. Wham! I want it to come in once you're starting to rev. That's going to really help this thing take off. Then another thing we have a 2mm bigger carburetor with an adjustable high and low end jet. So that's going to really help us dial in the mixture. Got a brand new gasket kit because if you're going to tear it all apart, you're probably going to rip a gasket. You need these. And we're taking off the steel reeds and we're putting in these clear carbon fiber reeds. So we're going to put those on as well. And that should hopefully really bring this thing up on the performance level. And I've seen some other guys that have messed around with these motors, and there's a little bit of Dremel work I'm going to do. We'll see how much I do with that when I get everything tore apart. But for now, let's start tearing this thing apart again. Alright, we're starting to pull out the motor, getting rid of some of these crossbars from the top. We got bolts that come off from each side. They're flat on the bars that you hold with a, I do believe it's a 10mm wrench. Just pulling out some gas tank bolts, all kinds of different bolts that you gotta take out. If you need to know how to do it, go to YouTube and you can find all sorts of videos that'll tell you what bolts you need to take out. Now I went ahead and did my own thing and pulled out my motor my own way. They tell you to take off a bunch of more stuff that you don't really need to take off. Okay, we spun the truck around, pulling some more stuff off the other side. Tons of bolts on this side too. Alright, that whole red anodized plate comes off and down on that side. I think they tell you to come off the other side. But alright, we got the pipe off, got the truck up, pulling off some of our 4-link bars. Now I'm taking off the motor mount bolts where they bolt to the transmission. Now these are the motor mount bolts where the motor bolts in to the clutch itself there. And after those are out, the motor comes loose. Undo the throttle cable. A few other little things. And she's out. Alright, so we got this thing unassembled. Let's see if we can get this clutch off. Now, I'm sure this ain't going to come off. I'm going to have to get a puller. I'm very disappointed because it has a keyway and my new clutch does not. So I'm going to have to get a keyway cut in it unless I'm just going to count on that taper bolting down tight enough. I don't know. Don't worry about having to cut a new keyway because even though the old clutch has a keyway in it, the motor does not have a keyway cut in the crankshaft, so don't worry about that. There's the reeds. There's the old ones. There's the new ones. As far as the internals on this motor, everything is looking beautiful. Alright, so it's been a handful of days, almost a week. And I got the old clutch off. Here it is all in pieces here. You gotta pop the springs off. They all sit on here like so. Something like that. And then there's springs and bolts, and you pop that off with a clutch puller, a little 3-jaw puller. And I got this adjustable clutch. Now, I've heard good and bad about this. I'm going to leave it exactly where it was at. Where it was set at here. What was shipped to me. It looks pretty tight there. Looks even tighter than the stock clutch was when I first got it off the truck, because the stock clutch I could barely open it up, and this one or the stock clutch I could open it up a little bit, and this one, boy, I'm having a hard time opening it. So I'm thinking I'll leave that one right where it's at. I did order another carburetor, and I was like, well, shit, it ain't adjustable. All it's got is this regular screwdriver slot, and that's just to pull the whole jet out. Well, I joined a Raminator forum group deal on Facebook, and a guy told me, check on your stock carburetor and see if down in here, if there's a rubber plug, and pop that rubber plug out, and then you might have an adjustable carburetor underneath that rubber plug. Even though they say it's not adjustable, you might have a low end adjustment down there. But this one didn't have a rubber plug in it, and there's no adjustment. But I go ahead and I looked at my new carburetor, and I'll be damned, there's a little plug right there. I popped that out, and I'll be dang, you can't hardly see it, but down in there, there is a little flat blade screwdriver way down in there. So this one is adjustable. Heck yeah, really happy about that. Another thing I bought was some carbon fiber reeds. That's supposed to make a big difference. And I'm also going to do a light bit of port work on the exhaust side. I'm going to take this out. Now it does look like maybe I could waller the corners out a little bit in there, but I don't really want to mess around with that too much. But if you look on this, this is where you're going to run into a ridge. You know, your exhaust is going to be flowing out through here, out into here. It's going to be hitting a little bit on that, you know, like that ridge there. You know, and there's plenty of weld on the outside here, where if I grind away at this weld on the inside, it ain't going to be hurting anything. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of smooth this out a little bit. Make that look a little nicer. Go down to a little smaller one. Okay, and as you can see, I got a lot of that chunky stuff ground out of there. Now, it ain't perfect, but we're just trying to get it to flow a little bit better, and that's should be a huge improvement.
All right, now we're starting with reassembly. First things first is I had to rewind my recoil, which is a pain in the butt, but I seem to be almost professional at doing this now. Got her all wrapped up in there. Didn't forget that one little steel part again this time. Tie that little strippy thing on there. Now we'll go ahead and we're going to put the reed block back on the motor. Now you got to make sure you put that on the right way. Put them bolts on, put the carburetor on. Carburetor goes on one way as well. Get that all bolted on with the new velocity stack. The red one was the old one, the silver one's the new one. Going to put that header pipe back on with the nice new port job I did using my Loctite. Can't forget that stuff. Now I'm putting the recoil back on the motor, and now we're going to install the motor back into the truck. All kinds of bolts and crossbars and everything. Spin the truck back around, get the bolts and everything back in the other side, get that red anodized piece and all the spacers back in. Looking pretty good. Now the pipe goes in. Last couple crossbars on the top. I actually put them in the wrong place there, but I refixed them and put them out in the correct place. Spin the truck around again. Just finished tightening everything because I left everything loose until everything was bolted together. Putting a few of the finishing touches on the underside of the truck. Motor mount where it kind of bolts up to the transmission.
Alright, everybody. The Raminator's back together. I'm all dirty. I need a shower. I got the new 2-piece adjustable clutch on. The new high and low speed jet adjustable carburetor. A little bit of port work on the exhaust side. Nothing too major. Just wanted to clean it up. And the new carbon fiber reeds. So I really hope this at least changes it a little bit. So we'll have to see. I can tell that the clutch is engaging not enough. So back out with the motor. That sucks. Alright, everybody, a lot has changed since I've been working on this truck. I've waited so long for parts, and I've had it tore apart and waited for more parts and everything. But now I got the new carburetor on. I got the new carbon fiber reeds installed. A little bit of port work done. And the adjustable clutch. And the two Beast 2000 servos installed. Check out how fast these babies work. Them things are awesome. Got the 2 3-cells right up here that they're running on. This thing starts so much better on a cold start with this new carburetor. It's amazing. So let's go ahead and fire this thing up and see what it runs like. Choke. Oops, I forgot the third choke off. You're way rich. Alright, for some reason my throttle servo has quit working. I don't know why, but it has definitely quit working. And since it has quit working, I probably ought to call it quits for the day, because my gasket for my header pipe right there has came off. See, it's all the way unhooked. The pipe ain't even on there right now. That's why it was so loud. But it's definitely running a lot better. It had a little bit of stumble on low end, but it could be because the pipe was unhooked. I did try to adjust it a couple times on the low speed needle, and it didn't really seem to make much difference. I do think I need to adjust that. I do think I need to get that header pipe fixed, and that ought to hopefully fix that stumble on low end. If not, at least I can hear it a little bit easier to know if it needs a little less or a little more. I think it was needing a little bit more, but we'll see. All right, guys, that's it for now. I'm Traxxas Mike with a big old smile on his face for my RC life, and I'll see you later. Look at all that carnage.
Thanks for watching another episode of My RC Life. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.